Hey everybody, I am going to be creating a card for you today. I was inspired by Marta's video. She had created a super simple watercolor page. I'm sure most of you have seen it. If not, I will link it in the upper right hand corner for you to go check it out. As you guys know, I'm not very familiar with using watercolors, but every time I have time to watch one of her videos, it just inspires me. She makes it look so easy. And I honestly thought it was going to be a disaster when I first started it, but in the end, I love how my cards turned out. And so yeah, so I'm using some Strathmore watercolor paper. I cut them down to a standard size card. And I will be placing them on a card base in the end. But I'm using my Daniel Smith extra fine watercolor color chart. So I got this on Amazon, and there is 240 colors in this chart. I believe there's 4 different sheets. There's so many, and I use it quite often. I am definitely going to have to replace some of my little dots with actual tubes of color. So if you're new to watercoloring or don't do it a lot, this is definitely a very good option for you, so that you can kind of play around with the colors and see which ones you like. The blues, like the teals and things, I definitely am gonna have to get some because the dots are running out. So but they do last quite a while. So anyways, right now I am just trying to make some circles. They definitely do not have to be perfect. As you can see, mine are a little bit wonky. And I am using the colors, if I can pronounce these, Perline Violet and Rose of Ultramarine. So those are the 2 colors I go back and forth. I use a little bit of Mayan Violet. Yeah, so those are the 3 that I use. Mostly the Rose of Ultramarine and the Perline Violet. Probably not pronouncing that one right, but super pretty colors, as you could see. And I am using a watercolor brush. This one is from Tonic this time. I got these from Tonic, so thank you, Tonic. And I absolutely love it. It holds a lot of water and it doesn't drip, or it lets out the water very nicely. So yeah, that color, as you saw, was the Perline Violet, and then I go back in for the Rose of Ultramarine. And again, my thought process right at this second was that this was going to be going in the trash because I was not liking it. I don't know, but I kept with it and I just kept going, and I knew that when I started stamping the circle stitched stamps on there that I probably would like it, and that was the case. So at this point I do have quite a bit of water in these circles, so I'm just kind of dabbing a little bit of that color, that darker color, so that I get a little bit of shading. And then here I am just spritzing on a little bit of water so that I can get a little bit more of a watercolor look and it not be so perfect. It kind of spread out a little bit here and there. And then I spray it a little bit close on some of the circles, and it creates a little bit of splash from the circles, and I love it. Sorry, it's a little blown out. The black, I can't get my lighting right. I'm trying. But for the most part, I think the lighting is okay. Just when I have it mostly black, it just the camera tends to just freak out a little bit. All right, so these stitch stamps are from Prima. These are the same ones that Marta used. I actually had to clean them off and add a little bit of spray adhesive on the back of them so that they were sticky again, so that they would stick to a stamp block. Over on my Instagram, I just did a quick little story on how I did that. So if you want to check it out, I always have my Instagram linked down below. So if you want to check that out, you can head on over there. So these stitch stamp the stamp set is not available anymore, but I did link in the description box down below a couple different options that I found. You also can draw some circles with a micron pen. I'm new to these. I just got one, picked it up, and you'll see me in just a second use it. All right, I'm using a watercolor pencil from Prima. This is just like a black one, not any like fancy color or anything. So you could definitely use any type of water soluble marker or ink or anything just to kind of outline a little bit of that circle, and then it kind of bleeds through the whole circle and then creates more shadow, and it just creates more interest, I think. So I am going back in with some more color, and this is when I started feeling like my card was going to be something that I liked. So I again am using the same colors and just going in with a little bit of water and a little bit of that color, and just outlining a little bit of, you know, the outer, like the circle, and then I kind of brush it off, and then I go in and kind of spread out that color a little bit, so there's a little bit of dimension to the circles, so they're not just, you know, one color or anything. I did create another card, and I will have the more pictures and all of the supplies and everything over on my blog, so be sure to check that out. So I just spritz it with a little bit of water, and then I'm just letting it run a little bit, kind of just creating a more of a messy look. And it's hard to tell right now because it's so blown out, because my camera was freaking out at this moment. But it does kind of fade out into the paper and over the lines of the stamped image, if that makes sense. And I'm just adding more color, and I just continue to layer color, and then just kind of spread it out so that, again, it creates more depth to the circles. And here you see me using that micron pen. It is archival, I think it says archival, and waterproof and fade proof. So you definitely can draw the circles, and you just kind of have to do like little squiggly lines and like a zigzag and just kind of messy lines just to create the circles if you are good at drawing circles. I'm not, so I almost attempted to, just to show you guys that it could be done, but I wasn't brave enough today. So maybe in another video or something. But yeah, so definitely they're pretty inexpensive as well. I think I picked this one up for a couple dollars at Michael's. And here I'm just adding some white splatters with my Distress Spray in Picket Fence. And then I decided to use my new Prima butterflies from the Lavender collection. I thought they would be perfect for this card since I am using purple. And I add a little bit of string in the back, and then just add it with some Fabri-tac glue. And then this little word, or this sentiment, I'm sorry, is from the Tim Holtz Tiny Word Phrases, I think it's called. And I just distressed the edges of that panel. I cut it down just a tad bit so that it layers nicely on the card front or the card base. And then that is going to complete the card. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I also love reading your comments, so leave me one down below. Share this video on social media. And if you ever create something that is inspired by something that I have created, tag me on social media. I love to see it. And I want to thank you guys again for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.